Pick your friends, pick your nose, but don't pick your friends. Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. A podcast that proudly flies the flag every day. Once again, Medicare experts agree he is Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. This is your laziest Medicare advisor, Doug Jones. I'm here to help you feel really confident that Medicare is going to be no problem for you. Other people are trepidatious. They're frightened of the whole transition process. They're worried about making a mistake. But if you rely on my expertise and my hand-holding, you will traipse through the Medicare jungle and you'll come out the other side smelling like a rose because you will have had the best advice there is about Medicare. How will you acquire that advice? Well, I would suggest that you go to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com and purchase Medicare for the Lazy Man. The 2025 edition is the one that's out right now, and it will serve you in good stead for any of your Medicare explanations and, goal setting, steering through the confusion. And you will eventually, at the end of that book, which is not a very long book, you will eventually feel much more confident that Medicare is doable, and you will have emerged with the best possible Medicare coverage at the lowest possible price. I mean, quality always has a cost. There are a lot of freebie plans out there that are going to make their members less than happy. And you won't be one of those if you follow the advice of the Medicare for the Lazy Man. Now, there are two other books available to supplement Medicare for the Lazy Man. The first of those is Medicare Prescription Drug Plans, a simple DIY guide. Now, that is a book that you can buy for $10 or $3 if you get the Kindle version. It will teach you step by step how to select your own Medicare drug plan. It will be incredibly useful to you. Each year in the fall, we're approaching AEP or open enrollment right now. It's entirely possible that the drug plan you have now is not going to serve you well starting at the first of the year. How can you be sure? There are two ways to be sure. Read your ANOC, your annual notice of change that comes in the mail, but nobody wants to do that. People open that envelope and say, this is disgusting. It's fine print. It's all legalese. It's written for law school graduates. I am not going to read this, and they throw it away. The other way to do it is to do a scientific search of all the drug plans, putting in your unique parameters to make sure that the plan that you have starting January 1st is going to be the best for you. Now, you can perform that search online at medicare.gov starting October 1st to see what the plans for 2026 are going to look like. You can do that with my book that will teach you exactly how to use the government website to your advantage. So that is the second way that you can use that's the second book of mine that will be very, very helpful to you. And the third book is if you're approaching Medicare enrollment, let's say your birthday is in October of 1960 and it's time for you to sign up for Medicare. I've got two people that I have to correspond with today that both have that deadline. They've put it off. They've been less than enthusiastic, so they've been procrastinating, and now it's time for them to sign up for Medicare before October 1st. Well, this book that I've written, my third book, is made just for them. It's called Medicare for the Lazy Man, Bare Bones. It has the words bare bones diagonally across the cover. It is a short and sweet and to the point instructional for the person who needs to know what signing up for Medicare is all about. It starts out telling you what your timetable might be, whether you're leaving a job with a large company, maybe leaving a job with a small company. Maybe you are on Medicare or on Social Security already, and your birthday is approaching, and there are any number of categories you might fall into. Well, the early part of the book tells you how to behave in each of those categories. And then it tells you how we enroll in Medicare Parts A and B, how you and I together would select the following coverage that will supplement your Medicare enrollment. And finally, how might you handle your drug plan needs as well. That's all wrapped up in a book the size of a matchbook. It's like 20 pages or less of instructional material. And then there's a picture of me that takes up a page. Plus, there are a couple of pages of boilerplate, the the necessary legal stuff that happens in books. So I believe that you're going to find Medicare for the Lazy Man bare bones is going to be incredibly useful if you need some instruction about enrolling in Medicare. And frankly, if you are a podcast engineer or a podcast technical advisor, you might need some practice in smiling, because I'm looking at my podcast engineer right now. He looks incredibly bored and less than happy to be here. That's Randy. You gotta lighten up.
That is absolutely not true, Doc. I love doing this podcast.
I hope so.
I was just trying to be a little more calm than I was the last episode.
Yeah, you did have a laughing fit at a very inappropriate time.
I did. I had a laughing fit. I'm sorry I did that, and you walked through it admirably. You did crack a smile, but at least you didn't take off laughing after me. So bottom line is I'm trying to behave myself this time.
All right. Well, it's not necessary to try too hard, because that takes all the fun out of life. So anyway, we've got some work to do.
I've got another question for you, though.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I can't wait for this one.
This is an easy one.
All right. Yeah, I've heard that before.
What happened on today's date in 1940?
Jeez, God. The last one was 1776, so at least this one is a little closer to when I was actually alive on the face of the earth. But this date in 1940, September, is this when the Nazis invaded Poland?
Nope. Not at all. I'm going to give you a hint. Give you a hint.
Please do.
Are you ready?
Prepare to give me many hints.
Pink Panther.
Oh, so the guy who invented the the Pink Panther thing who was that? Because the Pink Panther didn't really come out as a video until the 60s. So I'm guessing it's the guy who invented the Pink Panther was born on this date in 1940. Is that right?
You're absolutely correct. And if you can dream up his name, I'll give you an extra couple points.
Well, I won't get those points. You're going to have to tell me his name.
Peter Sellers.
Oh, Peter Sellers didn't invent the Pink Panther. It was his movie that the Pink Panther debuted in. But don't you think it was some cartoonist that invented the Pink Panther?
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't think Peter Sellers invented him. I think he had a movie that was the first use of the Pink Panther.
We'll go with that.
Well, now that I think about it, was the title of the movie the Pink Panther?
Yes.
Okay, but there was some cartoonist that did the work of animating the Pink Panther that appeared occasionally, like during the
Peter
credits.
Sellers did that himself. He absolutely.
Really? No, you lying sack. I'll tell you, it's just like when you told me that Jimi Hendrix died in 1973. Jeez, I've got to be more skeptical. I have the wool pulled over my eyes all the time. But I will say that the Pink Panther,
I know where there's a saddle you can ride at your next birthday.
It's got to be my birthday, though. They check ID now.
I know. Oh. Well, you know something? I'm going to behave, and I'm going to let you make. Let you make some money. Okay?
When are you going to start that new lifestyle?
You just never know.
All righty. Well, let's get rolling here. We got some money to make. Hopefully, the advertisers are going to be dumping some money into our Christmas fund. But let's start with the things that we normally do for every episode at the beginning. We start with a Medicare Advantage Minute. And this is the reason we do this is that we want to beat up on Medicare Advantage plans. We want to warn people that they are just not going to be your ideal choice, but we don't want to spend the whole episode. We could, because there's plenty of material, plenty of misery that Medicare Advantage plans are out there causing. So for our Medicare Advantage Minute today, we have an article that says that Elevance, which I believe used to be Anthem, cuts Medicare Advantage footprint, exits standalone Medicare prescription drug plans. So here's a big insurance company that cannot stay in business with all of its Medicare Advantage plans, plus they're dumping all of their Medicare prescription drug plans. So here's what the content curator has highlighted for me in this article. Roughly 150,000 individual and group Medicare Advantage members will be affected by these plan exits, as will some 400,000 drug plan enrollees. Elevance, which, as I said, I believe is Anthem, used to be Anthem. Elevance is trimming its Medicare footprint, especially in prescription drug plans, in a bid to improve their profitability. Elevance is also fully exiting standalone Medicare drug plans so that it can concentrate more resources on Medicare Advantage and D-SNPs, which are special Medicare Advantage plans for people who are eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid. These decisions were not made lightly, an executive said, but they should help them exit 2025 on a firmer footing, which I think is business school talk for maybe losing less money than they were going to lose. Insurers are bracing for a volatile 2026, especially in federal health care programs. Specifically in Medicare, payers have found themselves slammed by rising costs for Medicare Advantage members, while policy shifts from Washington have tamped down on reimbursement. Insurers tried to right-size their membership in response with mixed success. During the second quarter earnings calls, payers, meaning insurance companies that didn't adequately forecast costs this year, said that they plan to scale back benefits and exit additional markets in 2026 in a bid to recover earnings. United Healthcare, the largest Medicare Advantage insurer in the United States, is being particularly aggressive. The company intends to exit plans that currently serve more than 600,000 members. Insurers are also nudging members into plans that give them more control over costs, meaning they're probably nudging them from PPOs where there's freedom to HMOs where there is no freedom. And of course, that totally ignores Medicare supplement plans, which is the only product that I sell, and that gives people perfect freedom of choice. So let's see, Elevance is the fourth largest Medicare company in the United States, Medicare Advantage, and it's also taking by prioritizing HMOs, plans with narrower networks along with plan exits, whatever. That's a poorly constructed sentence. As for Part D drug plans, Elevance is one of 7 companies that sell the coverage, which provides a prescription drug plan to enrollees in traditional Medicare. But it's not a major focus for Elevance, which currently has 400,000 standalone drug plan members. That makes the company the 6th biggest standalone Part D provider. So 6th out of 7 is not that good. So this executive stressed that Elevance is not jumping ship due to uncontrollable costs or volatility in the drug plan market. Despite concerns about its stability, it's just less of a priority. We're simply focusing resources where we can deliver the greatest impact. That includes D-SNP. The company is likely to capitalizing on a government rule finalized last spring that moves dual eligibles, meaning people who are eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid, moving dual eligibles from different companies into one plan run by their Medicaid insurer. Don't know really what that's all about. As a result, having a broad Medicaid footprint, Medicaid is welfare. So Medicaid would be the medical plan you would need if you don't have a job with a company that provides health insurance and you're broke. So Elevance will be a catalyst for Medicare Advantage growth, especially as D-SNP population is forecasted to increase. Well, the way they increase the D-SNP population is one of 2 ways. Either everybody loses money and they just get poorer faster, or the definition of people who are eligible for the I'm backing up here. I hope Randy will come back and take this part out. But the definition of those who are eligible for the Medicaid program or welfare is expanded. Elevance reaffirmed its 2025 guidance in advance of this gentleman's appearance. However, the company also shared that it doesn't expect Medicaid margins to improve in the last half of the year. Executives had expected improvements as recently as 2 months ago. Their stock fell 4% after that announcement. Alrighty. Now, the other thing we do on a regular basis is we read a segment from the big giant book of all things Medicare that your doctor could do for you. And that selection is generally in alphabetical order. So the Your Medicare Benefits 2025 is available for anybody. You can follow along with us if you want to. Just go to Medicare Benefits 2025 and tell your printer to get ready for a big afternoon of printing stuff. And a couple hours later, you're going to have this book sitting on your printer's output tray, ready to follow along with us. We're in the P's right now, prescription drugs, outpatient. This segment, this little article in the book is 3 pages long. And frankly, it describes a million different types of drugs that Medicare Part B would cover. Now, what kinds of drugs are covered under Part B of Medicare? Well, these are drugs that are used for special purposes or for injections that must be done at a doctor's office. A few of them I've never seen before, like erythropoiesis stimulating agents. I don't know what the heck that would be. Blood clotting factors for hemophiliacs, injectable and infused drugs, oral end-stage renal drugs, antigen allergy tests and treatments. So there are a whole bunch of drugs in this section. I'm not going to read everything in this section. Oral cancer drugs, oral anti-nausea drugs. So for some reason, a lot of these drugs are provided under Part B of Medicare. So they are going to have the same cost structure as your average doctor's visit would be. In other words, after the one-time, very small annual deductible of $257 this year, Medicare Part B will pay 80% of the cost in most cases. From what I understand here, let's see, I should read this again. Medicare card. So if you're not getting these drugs from your Part D drug plan, but you're getting them from Part B of Medicare, you are going to be paying that 20%. Unless you have a Medicare supplement plan from yours truly, in which case you're not going to be paying that 20%, at least not in the traditional way that we all think of. So for more information, and I've skipped 3 pages of details here, if you're interested in this particular subject matter, you should go to medicare.gov/coverage/prescription-drugs-outpatient and peruse that article yourself, because I think it's going to be highly instructive. Now, last episode, we talked considerably about the new service that Medicare for the Lazy Man is going to make available to its clients, and especially to those who are interested in getting their drug plan all set up for 2026. One of the ways that people can do that is to go to the Medicare site on the internet, medicare.gov, and it's medicare.gov/plan-compare is the URL for that website. And it used to be that when you went to that site for years, you saw a person who resembled the Frito Bandito. So when I wrote my book about how to use that website, I used the Frito Bandito with a picture of the Frito Bandito from the old ads from Frito-Lay. And then, of course, when the government saw my book in print, and they said, let's screw with this guy. So they got rid of the Frito Bandito, and now it's 3 nondescript ladies that are giggling with each other. I don't know what that's supposed to be for, but I'm going to have to go back and change that section of my book. But you, as the listener, can go to medicare.gov medicare.gov/plan-compare and use that website as your search tool to select the best, the least costly Medicare drug plan for you for the following year. But you can't do it yet. You have to do it in October. After October 1st, I believe all the new drug plan information is going to be in the site, built into it. And you've got three variables that will be important or be critical to the actual selection of your plan. That would be your location. So your zip code is going to be number one that goes in. Second would be your drug list, which is different for everybody. Third will be your favorite pharmacies. Now, that is one way to do it. You can just go onto that website and forge ahead and hope that you've got the right technique, and your results will be hopefully very reliable. The second way, and this is the way I suggest, purchase a copy of my book, Medicare Drug Plans, a simple DIY guide from Amazon.com, and you can use it as a page-by-page guide to the use of that website because it has a wider explanation about some of the areas that may cause you confusion. Because a government website is going to be as far from perfect as, let's say, if the government designed Medicare for the Lazy Man website, it would be unrecognizable to many of the people who go there to fill out a questionnaire to get a Medicare supplement quote. And the same would be true of their current site. There are some confusing things, some hazy, inexplicable things that you have to understand, and all of that is contained in my book. Now, the third way to do it is to write me an email at dbj@mlmmailbag.com, and I will send you a link to a paid service that will do this job for you. And if you've got a particularly complex series of drugs and you think your drug plan is going to be a confusing, complicated process, then I suggest writing me and using the link to connect with the service that I have discovered that will do a good job of providing your drug plan selection. But one thing that everybody needs to know about their drug plans is the only way they're going to know if their current drug plan is going to turn south on them or is going to, as I like to say, is going to turn on them like a rabid dog, is to be aware that they're going to get a piece of mail called the ANOC, ANOC, Annual Notice of Change. All Medicare drug plans and all Medicare Advantage plans are bound by law to send out an ANOC. I've seen a few of these ANOCs because I have a Medicare drug plan. And every year when my ANOC shows up, my gut reaction is to take that thing and tear it up and throw it on the floor and stomp on it, because the evil genius who writes these things is, they're only writing to other law school graduates, it seems like. It's very unpleasant to have to read this stupid thing. So that should be set aside. You should take a deep breath. You should get a stiff drink. You should prepare to spend some time with your ANOC, because somewhere in that ANOC, it's going to tell you whether your drug plan is going to be changing. And if it's going to be changing in unacceptable or unpleasant ways, you got to find out about it, because the only other way you can do it is just to run the search, the scientific search that I've described for picking a drug plan that's suitable for you, that's going to start January 1st. And if it happens to be the plan you have and 2026 version of that plan is okay, then you're golden, because your current plan will just renew. But if it turns out that your current plan is going to turn on you like a rabid dog, if it's going to become a lot more expensive, or maybe the drugs that it covers for you are not going to be in that plan's formulary, any number of bad things can happen. You want to find out about it ahead of time so that you can apply for coverage with a different drug plan that's going to be more appropriate for you for the following year. So, understanding your ANOC, this is the article's title, Understanding Your Medicare Annual Notice of Change is Critical. That's ANOC. ANOC. Every September, your Medicare plan sends a letter in the mail called the Annual Notice of Change, ANOC. Your plan, ANOC, lets you know how your current Part D drug plan or Medicare Advantage plan will change for the following year. That's right. Medicare drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans can make changes to your coverage, including raising the premium, increasing your deductible or copays, adjusting what drugs are in your formulary, and even more. Even if you loved your Medicare plan this year, it doesn't mean that you'll love it next year. Here's what you need to know about reading your annual notice of change and what you can do about the plan changes and how to ensure that you have great Medicare coverage for the following year. So what is an ANOC letter? Well, it's your annual notice of change. It's a letter your Medicare plan will send each September. So I guess it's coming in September. I haven't seen mine for my drug plan yet. The ANOC explains any changes in coverage, costs, or network that will take effect on January 1st of the following year. It's only for Medicare Part D plans and Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare supplements are not included because the government standardizes the included benefits, which means Medigap Medicare supplement plans do not change. That's what I tell people. There's no need to even consider reviewing or renewing your Medicare supplement plan because it's not going to change. It's just going to keep doing what it does so well. So important ANOC timing. The letter will arrive sometime in September. You're allowed to make changes to your Part D plan, your drug plan, or your Medicare Advantage plan during the fall enrollment period from October 15th to December 7th. And the changes will go into effect on January 1st. Understanding this timing is critical because here's what often happens. We get a call from a frustrated individual in January. They explain that their medication used to cost $4 and now it costs $25. Well, you should have read your ANOC would be my response. At that point, it's too late to make any plan changes. You cannot switch Medicare drug plans until the fall enrollment period next October. In sum, I don't know what that means. In summation, pay attention to your ANOC and make sure you understand how your plan will be changing next year. If you don't like the changes, it's time to switch plans, and you need to do it between October 15th and December 7th. So the question becomes, what should I do with my ANOC letter? Sometime in September, you'll receive it. Don't throw it away. It will come from your Medicare plan. For example, your Part D drug coverage is from SilverScript, for instance. It will come from SilverScript. Your Medicare Advantage plan is with Aetna, then your ANOC will come from Aetna. Read through it and ensure that you understand all the changes. If you don't, then call your agent immediately, and your agent can help you understand how your plan will be changing for the following year. Or what I suggest is searching all the plans for the next year, searching for all available drug plans and picking the one that is going to be the least costly for you starting January 1st of 2026. So here are the potential changes you could experience. Premium increase, deductible increase. And there's a nice little picture of these problems. Copay increases, co-insurance increases, network changes. Your pharmacy or doctor may no longer be in your network or is no longer a preferred network provider. Formulary changes. Your medications might not be covered by your drug plan anymore, or they might have put your drugs in a different tier, meaning they'll cost more at the pharmacy. Changes to prior authorizations. You might now have to get special approval to fill certain medications. Changes to referrals and managed care. All kinds of problems can happen. It's common for drug plans to be dropped or revised, which can lead to automatic enrollment in a different drug plan from the same company. Last year, this happened to many clients, and they were moved from a $20 premium plan to a $55 premium plan. That happened to some of my clients a couple of years ago. They went from a $4 plan to a $45 plan, and they were shocked. It is also common for a drug formulary to change, meaning a drug that cost you $5 in this year could cost you $25 next year. It's critical to read through your ANOC and have a firm understanding of how you will be affected by your plan's changes. Even if you loved your plan this year, it doesn't mean you're going to love it next year. And finally, what should I do after reading my ANOC? After reading through your ANOC and seeing how your plan will change for the following year, it's always a good idea to run a new plan comparison. That's right. And what are the 3 ways we can do that? We can do it ourselves by going to medicare.gov/plan-compare and figuring out how to do it on their website. You can purchase my book, Medicare Drug Plans, a simple DIY guide, and follow along. And that would be a foolproof method. That's an either $10 or a $3 item, depending on whether you buy the Kindle or the paperback. Or you can send an email requesting your link to our new service that we recommend to dbj@mlmmailbag.com. Just say, send me a link to your new drug plan service, and then you can check them out, and I think you'll like what you see. In any event, those are the things that you can do to run your plan comparison to be sure that you've got a plan that starts next fall that will be acceptable for you and won't be shockingly expensive. Even if your plan is not going to change or you're okay with the changes, you should shop the market to ensure you still have the best plan for you. Next year's plans won't be visible until October 1st on the Medicare.gov site. So you can't begin any enrollments also until October 15th. If you wanted to change plans, you wanted to do it yourself on the Medicare.gov site, you can't do an enrollment until October 15th. Agents are not allowed to accept it. I can't even help you do an enrollment in a drug plan that's a change from your current one until October 15th. New carriers and plans are released every year, and competition is a great thing. There may be a plan in your area with a lower premium or richer benefits, and you should take full advantage of that. You can run a Medicare Part D or Medicare Advantage comparison. Who cares about Medicare Part D? I would say go to Douglas B. Jones for your directions as to how to proceed. In conclusion, Medicare plans change, and you should ensure that you're always in the most competitive plan for your needs and budget. So that is my summation of your ANOC and why it's a critically important document. And I'll tell you that Randy Carson is a critically important part of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast, and he is now going to start you in the process of getting up and leaving your chair to head out the back door.
Yes, because guess what?
What?
We're out of time.
Again, it seems to happen every episode.
You actually hit it pretty good today. You hit the nail on the head, but I've got 2 or 3 things I always need to take care of. Number 1 is grab your pencil. Write this email address down, dbj@mlmmailbag.com. It's a really important email address to have because now that we've got additional services available, you just really need to have this on your desk. Write it down on your ink pad. I don't care where you put it, just don't lose it because it could be critically important. The next thing is, don't forget, Doug is licensed nationwide to help you with your Medicare supplement planning. Go to the website, MedicareForTheLazyMan.com. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. You can apply for, you can make any kind of stuff happen on the website. You can apply to get some pricing on a Medicare supplement plan, or there's any number of things you can do, and you just need to go there and see what kind of oh my God, it's just a bazaar.
It's like a playground.
It's a playground of Medicare supplement information. Fun, absolutely fun. And certainly not last, but if you're running around the internet, drop some reviews for us. We want to win out again this year over the travel logs. Yeah, we want to beat the travel logs again. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, thank you for joining us today. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else, and you weren't. You were with us, which is exactly where we really like to have you. But nobody ever keeps track of the time. You have just spent about 32 and a half minutes with Doug Jones, the insurance guy, originally from Oklahoma. Now he's living in the low ground of Illinois, Pugsleyville. There's lots of low things out there. I don't know what else besides the ground, but Doug probably does know.
Well, I have a more intimate knowledge of Pugsley than everybody else, and I would rue the day that he ever actually successfully runs for president. That's his goal in life. That's all he thinks about. That's all he dreams about. And I say, keep him as far away from any more authority that you possibly can. Anyway, Thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a blast having you with us, and I always look forward to our next meeting at which we will gather together to have more Medicare fun. So, bye bye.